Even a hero can use a hand.
I'm doomed.
Or an arm. Or a leg.
With a million ways to mash them all, mix and mash your favorite superheroes.
Marvel Superhero Mashers!
Marvel. Hasbro. Visit HeroMashers.com/Marvel.
Welcome, dear listener, to our podcast. Jeff and Rick present Unpacking the Power of Power Pack,
where we journey through each issue of comics that include a member of the most underrated Marvel series from the 80s while drinking beer.
Analyzing awesome and amazing adjacent adolescent adventures and absorbing alcohol.
I am Jeff.
And I am Rick.
Random banter is an idiom which means almost to the point of death. Random banter time, buddy. Talk to me, tell me tall tales and tantalizing tidbits of trivia. Today.
Beating you with an inch of your life, something like that?
Yeah, within an inch. Yeah, because that's going to go on in this one. And Scott threatens it, and there it happens.
It could also be that I beat you with an inch of your life.
On the daily. I paid for the platinum upgrades, so that's why that goes on.
All right, I can see it. I am going to continue to talk about things I purchased at Rose City Comic Con before I go to Baltimore City Comic Con and buy a couple more things. Although I can't really buy that much because I'm already taking too much over there, but I digress. I purchased the first omnibus of Harrow County.
Don't know it.
Cullen Bunn, Tyler Crook. And this is the first of two omnibuses that collects all of the comic of Harrow County. And Harrow County came out 2015 through 2018. Published by Dark Horse Comics. And it's a horror series.
I would guess so, yes.
It's pure, I don't know why you'd think that. There's a skinned arm that's creeping out of a little box with some blood on the floor just on the cover. I don't know how you got to horror from there.
It's the county part. Like Bloom County. Anything that has county in it is a horror show.
It's Bloom County with much more demons. It is a story of a small little county, Harrow County, and they've got a little secret. They burned a witch once upon a time, and 18 plus years later, they're looking to do it again. And it's a story of the young girl who has grown up after the first witch was destroyed. She finds she's got some powers. It is a twisted little tale. It is... The art is just great. The art is done by Tyler Crook, and it's absolutely wonderful. I really, really enjoy it. In fact, I got him to sign it. I was having something else signed, and I saw him there, and I got him to sign this, and I picked it up. I think I had heard about it before, but it looked interesting. I was like, I'm going to try it out. I am going to be looking for the second omnibus because this was a very, very good read. It's something I really enjoyed, and yeah, it ain't your normal tights and fights. It's a little creepier. It's much creepier. And it is, at the same time, there's a good story that's in there. And there's a good little universe building with inside this small little county. So that's something for people to check out at some point in time, if that is their cup of tea.
I'm interested in it.
And by cup of tea, I would say a bloody cup of tea.
Yes, horror tea.
You said you're interested in it?
Yeah, I'm interested in that too. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I've read some really good horror comics in the past. They're not always for me. They're always not quite what I want on my saucer, but I can really enjoy them. There are ones that are really great.
What is up with you?
Well, not to brag, I was doing yard work last week, and I stepped on something that made my foot go wobbly, 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 and I said, ow, that kind of hurt. Well, back to work, and within 5 minutes I said, well, I guess I'm done. In fact, maybe I'm going to be done for a couple of days. So rested my foot for about 4 or 5 days. I'm able to put pressure on it. I can walk around and everything again. So that's good. So a Jeff hurt himself story. But the benefit of that was because I was kind of giving my foot rest and not putting weight on it or anything because I couldn't. I got to spend some time reading. So I've read books 5 and 6 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series again.
Nice.
I have one book left to read in the series then I'm all caught up. So again, enjoying the series, really liking Matt Dinniman's work.
Nice. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be doing a road trip next week. I'm going to end up at Baltimore City Comic Con. I've gotten a few different things for audiobooks, some from the library, a couple of things I bought. I think one of the things I bought was the first Dungeon Crawler Carl, because you mentioned it. I got another friend who's got all the books. So I'm going to give it a listen to, see if I like it. And I'm going to listen to a few other things as well.
I'm hoping you enjoy it, because I absolutely fell in love with it. Like I said, I was in Yellowstone and I read the book, and then I turned around and read it again a second time, because I said, this is really good, and I want to absorb that again.
Well, we have read something else. Yes, we have. And it is called FF number 16. So let's go ahead and find out what happened last episode when we talked about FF15.
The FFs take a note out of the Dirty Dozen's playbook and rhyme the plan so that they and we know what they are doing. And what they are doing is flooding the lane with androids and robots, having Alex and Uhura save the Power Parents, having their pay-to-play magician remove Doom's magics, having the FF lady siphon away his recently acquired cosmic powers, and finally having Doom be confronted by Scott Lang, the Ender of Dooms. I made up that moniker. Now that the old John Storm went all Leroy Jenkins and rushed off to fight Doom on his lonesome and got swatted out of the fight for his troubles, 2-sentence replay is over. Why don't you give me a beer and tell us what our power pack pick is?
My pleasure, my friend. Why don't you reach into that bag and... Oh, be careful. It might actually disappear. Your hand might disappear because it's there's something weird and creepy and just space and time inducing in that bag.
There's some wibbly wobbly in here. Let's find out what we got. We have Infinite Realms by T. Hazy India Pale Ale. Wow, that is a lovely little illuminated bridge going over sparkly waters, a little river. It's got trees and everything. It's got lovely night sky with big old dotty stars. Oh, what's that over on the side? Some kind of street light? Maybe a little campfire or something? That's great. That's a good looking beer. What's it about?
We have Infinite Realms. I'm going to just say it right now. There's Infinite Realms going on here. We have the FF that are way off in their realm. We have a different realm that Franklin and Val and Ravonna end up in, and then we got the realm that we're living in right now. So, realms aplenty in this book.
Ooh, story time on the can is brewed in Portland, Oregon. That's cool. I'm from there, or nearby.
Infinite Realms by Threshold Brewing Hazy IPA with Nectron and HBC 586 hops, 6.5% ABV. Get ready to drink some hops!
Well, it smells like a juicy, citrusy IPA.
Yeah.
What I got as soon as I cracked that and put my nose to it. It pours with a lovely little foamy head on it.
Bit.
It is. Got a lovely hazy IPA color. It's got that nice light amber coloration. Like I said, smells like a citrusy, juicy IPA.
That's what it smells like, and that's what it tastes like. It definitely has that pine, rusted metal, hoppy taste in there, but very juicy.
Very, very juicy.
Very flavorful. It's got that sweet tones in there. Yep. It's got a few different layers that are going on there, which is quite nice.
Yeah, it's got that mild passion fruit kind of flavor going on.
Yeah.
I'm not getting too bad with the rusty nail flavor.
No, actually, no, not so much. It's calmed down after the second sip.
Yep. The aftertaste on it does have a bit more of that, but it's not the overpowering hops flavor that a lot of IPAs have. But a lot of hazies usually tend to be a bit more on the juicy and citrusy side of things.
Yeah. That's not too bad, actually. That's fairly pleasant. I think that few of my IPA-loving friends would really enjoy this one.
Yeah, that's easy drinking. There's something just off around the edges of the flavor for me, and I'm trying to figure out what that is. I'm like, it's not a dank, it's not a soured fruit, it's not a rotted fruit.
Are you talking on the X or Y or Z axis of the beer?
You know, kind of all three. It circles all around with its strength, its growth, and its density. Yeah. Well, speaking of density, this book is a bit dense, but we're going to try to knife and fork it and get through the meal that Matt Fraction, Lee Aldred, and Mike and Laura Allred left us with. So, Jeff, what are the opening credits, if you please? FF Volume 2, Issue Number 16, March 2014. For all we have and are. Credits. Writers, Matt Fraction, Lee Allred. Penciler, Michael Allred. Inker, Michael Allred. Colorist, Laura Allred. Letterer, Clayton Cowles. Editor, Tom Brevoort. Featuring Ant-Man, Dr. Doom, and the cameos by other people that we've talked about, including Alex Power and his parents. Before we start covering this book, let me just say we are only covering the first story in this issue. We will cover the second story, 4, next episode.
We start this issue and this story with a wrap-up of the fight leading to the fight that is about to happen. The remote-controlled things dumping destroyed Doombots on a burn pile like dead Jawas, the unconscious bodies of Kid Immortus and Teen Annihilus lying about like ennui-filled teenagers that they are, and the power parents being led to an ambulance asking themselves, why does this weird stuff keep happening to us? The destruction of Doom's magics, his science, his private rooms.
Yeah, we should not really linger in Doom's private rooms. Some secrets of comics I would like to keep hidden. If you know, you know, and if you don't know, you're happier for it.
But after all that, we get back to the cave where it happens, and we see a disheveled Doom towering over smaller-sized Ant-Man.
Your petty little plan has failed, Lang. Doom still lives.
Scott still has a plan, and the second thing he does, after mocking Dr. Doom about still talking in third person, is to contact Dragon Man to open a portal and take over Darla's think suit in order to remove Medusa, She-Hulk, and Darla from the fight zone.
Clever boy. Now he is all alone with Doom. And, that's not what a clever boy would want to be doing.
No, you see, as we've said, Scott's got a plan. First things first, kick aside the power packs that absorb Doom's annihilating conqueror powers.
Rup.
Doom calls Lang a fool and says with the return of his cosmic powers that he can bring Cassie back to life. Scott's daughter who died to keep ultimate power out of Doom's bloodstained hands previously.
I'm guessing that's going to be a hard no on Scott's part.
Darn right it's a hard no.
Next part of the plan, mocking a powerless Doom and telling him to strip.
Bro, they're kids present. Possibly reading the book and stuff, man.
Just the armor, so that Doom can get beaten within an inch of his life in a fair fight. Get your mind out of the Latvarian gutter. This is simply about performing a near murder.
So what's Doom's response to this? Let's let Doom speak for himself with some deadly armor or magic-based action.
Washed.
And nothing. All flash and no splash. Doom is stunned. How can he be defeated by an Ant-Man?
In response, Scott grabs Doom's wrist and squeezes the gauntlets, crushing them. How can this possibly be? Doom asks Scott, but he refuses to monologue about how he's doing it.
But there is someone who has figured it out. Watu, the guy who stares at stuff. And as he grabs old John Storm and phases back to the blue area of the moon, he starts to explain what is happening with the help of the Future Foundation.
This is where there's a lot of yakety-yak in the book, and we're going to try and streamline it a bit. First thing, Watu is injured, but recovering, and this plays into part of what's happening.
No one is allowed to touch the Watchers without consequences, and while we wait for those repercussions, we should talk about what Scott Lang has discovered and done.
Scott has found out that Pym particles are more cool than they appear to be, and this is something that elevated beings like the Watcher already know.
On a basic level, they can either grow or shrink you. This has been done by a number of people and can be shown on the x-axis. But that does not explain how Giant Man became stronger and more durable as his size changed.
But when you look at how the Pym particles played a part in the creation of the Vision, you could see that while the Vision could not control his size, he could control durability along the y-axis and strength upon the z-axis.
The same but different with Wonder Man.
And so, all this means that Scott can control the same modulations upon himself by using the Pym particles slightly different than the others. And this is something that Doom cannot fathom or see.
Bentley and Onami are really geeking out over this and extrapolating a lot of potential for world peace or domination, depending on which side of the Force you're on.
Bop.
Watu comes to his senses and smacks down the theoretical bubbles these two kids were playing around with. There is a threat to wipe their minds, but Watu knows it would be useless. He's done it before, and it just doesn't stick on humans.
Back in the Cave of Doom, an overpowered Scott Lang is literally and figuratively taking apart Victor Von Doom's armor.
Scott gets the villain down to his long johns and faceplate and begins to mock the dictator, saying that while there is flesh and bone present, he does not consider Doom to be human.
Then, he pulls off Doom's mask.
And surprise, surprise, surprise! There are no scars, no deformities, no imperfections. As usual, the moment that Doom got some power to do so, he fixed his face, removing the scars that are part of his origin story. It'll never last. As soon as he's defeated, the scars are going to return somehow, and nothing changes.
Scott correctly points out that Doom's problem is that he can never repair the scar on his soul.
We should point out that throughout this monologue, Scott is just throwing Victor around the cave like a rag doll.
Scott talks about how Doom is a sociopath, and how some people think that he is just misunderstood. The Ant-Man has been to prison, though. He has met real criminals, and he knows what Doom is. Doom is the equivalent of a tyrant, a dictator, a thin veneer covering the rot that lies within. And Doom is nothing but a liar.
Doom tries to argue with Scott. How can he be a hero if he invades Doom's country and destroys his property and beats him up and all that stuff?
Well, you see, Scott knows that he is not a god and never tries to be one. Then Scott destroys the doohickey that had Doom's combined powers in it.
In the face of ultimate defeat, Doom tries to rely on his old backup trick, mind transferring to one of his backup brains.
Wait, what?
Just go with it.
Okay, sure.
It doesn't matter, because Reed had already discovered that trick and recorded the brain pattern. Then, Scott went and sent that information out on the dark web with some of his old buddies from earlier in the series. And let's just say that identity theft is the least of Doom's problems. Now Doom's brain is kinda stuck in the body that's in right now.
Obliging Doom's desire for a change in scenery, Scott giant-mans up and breaks him and Doom out of the cave and into the landscape up above.
Let's take a detour and check on Ravonna and Franklin and Val and Lockjaw.
Val is still unconscious, so Franklin and Ravonna are still bickering. Well, Franklin is anyway. Ravonna just wants to know how quickly Franklin can power on and use his powers once she returns them. The answer is very quick.
We also find out that in her timeline, Doom has bio-re-engineered and conditioned Ravonna to be Kang's perfect mate, simply so that she will suggest the idea of Doom, the annihilating conqueror, to him.
That is weird.
Well, yes. But here's the fun part. Ravonna hates teenage Nate, since he's not the adult Kang, and that's how they can defeat Doom in Franklin's reality, by having Doom merge with two dumb teenagers and then getting his can kicked down the street so hard that he never considers doing the stupid merger again.
Speaking of which, Doom is currently and still getting his can kicked down the street. And now it has come to the final few punches, and Scott needs to get some grief off his chest.
First, he reminds Doom that he, Scott Lang, is an everyday Joe and not a gentleman like Reed. He was in prison, and he learned how to survive, and he knows how to shiv a fool.
Victor, not being all that smart at the moment, insults the memory of Casey Lang.
Scott takes a branch from the linden tree, the same type of tree his daughter died under after being killed by Doom, and he sticks the branch down the tyrant's throat.
But then, the Living Tribunal shows up.
Wait, what, who?
Just go with it. The cosmic entity that acts like a judge, jury, and executioner. Kind of the cosmic equivalent of Judge Dredd without the motorcycle. He received a complaint about a watcher being touched, and that is a big cosmic no-no.
Now, usually if a human pulls something like this, the cosmic entities really don't care, because you can't blame a child or savage primitive for their actions. But because Doom had taken a big old drink of god juice, that kicked it up to the manager. Because an omnipotent being should know better. And with all-encompassing power comes all-encompassing responsibility.
I feel like I've heard that from somewhere before.
Yeah, me too. Just can't place it.
So, in order for Doom to remember this, the Tribunal curses him to get a scar on his once again perfect face every time he commits a base act of malice. No matter what body or form he takes, no other power may harm his face. No other power may heal it. Thus, this Tribunal is concluded.
Now that's a gift that keeps on giving.
You would think so, but Doom does not care. He's a honey badger, baby. Bring it on!
At this point, Watu and Scott again state that real humans learn and grow. But Doom just does not get that even the universe despises him. He hasn't stared at the brink of death to let that lesson sink in yet.
Well, if that's the way he wants it, then that's how he's gonna get it. So Scott tells Watu to turn off any monitor feeds that the children might see, and then begins to pummel and beat the stuffing out of Doom. Remember, Scott promised to beat him within an inch of his life, and Doom better pray that he's a good judge of distance.
After Victor starts to beg in another language that it's enough, Scott stops and tells him to remember this day, and that if he ever comes after him or his again, Scott will finish him. And no power on Earth will stay his hand.
Excellent!
But Doom's not quite done. He has crawled over and put one of his gauntlets back on and is firing a final blast at Scott.
But also at that moment, Lockjaw has dropped himself, Ravonna, Franklin, and Val into the situation. And Val takes a blast right to her everything, shooting the Ravonna right out of her body.
Now there are a few things in heaven, earth, and hell that Doom cares for. But Valeria Richards, his goddaughter, is one of them.
And as he grieves over the fallen child, Val asks Franklin what happened.
Oh, he just shielded her. But in Victor's mind, and thanks to some mental interference by Ravonna, Doom thinks that he is stuck holding the dead body of his beloved goddaughter.
It won't last, but maybe it will teach him just a little bit of a lesson.
And with that, we wrap up this run on the FF. But we still need to talk, starting about the themes of this issue and continuing on with the cover credits. Mike Allred, Laura Allred, and Matt Fraction signed my copies. Anyways, okay. This is another Mike Allred cover. I'm going to just keep on doing that because that's the way I roll. This is another Mike Allred cover, and this one's a lot of fun. This is a good one. This is a good final issue. We have some type of observatory here, which is kind of cool. And we have FFN. And on this observatory and around it, at the very top, we've got Artie and Leech. And you can see their little tigers up there, too.
Yeah, Cargo Man Shark.
Cargo Man Shark's up there. We've got Silver Surfer flying around. And then we've got the Moloids, minus Turg, the head. But we've got the Moloids sitting up there with Onome and Adolf Impossible. Alex Powers off to the side, kind of floating in midair. And then, and below him, you can see Lockjaw and Luna's on top of her. Then you've got kind of sitting or standing on the plinth here. You've got She-Hulk, Medusa, Darla, Uhura, Wu and Vil, Scott, Dragon Man, and Bentley. And then in front of them, we've got Turg that's fooling around. And Bentley, I believe, I'm guessing, he has got both of his middle fingers up because we got little censored bars on over his hands.
No, he's showing off his censored rings.
His sensors, knuckle dusters. That's what it is.
Knuckle dusters, yeah.
This is a great final issue cover. This is perfect. Yeah. This is what you want to see. We see all of our cast here. We see them kind of sitting, waiting, watching, being here. And yeah, I like it. I have no notes.
Yeah, Silver Surfer wasn't in this, but it just represents all the cosmic forces.
Silver Surfer was not in this story, but he was in this book.
Yeah, I know. It's just the aspect that we haven't covered that back half yet. So I'm just like, what's the observatory and that going for? It doesn't matter. I can just go, he's representing all the cosmic forces. It's great because he's a friendly one. It's cool. Yeah, it's a great looking cover. It is really neat. And it just shows everybody, they're in a relaxed setting. They're in a relaxed pose since they're just kind of spread around and waving and saying hi and just kind of looking at stuff and smiling. They're happy.
Yeah, or content, I would say.
Content would be a good descriptor. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good cover. It's a good final cover for what we've got here. And we've got the culmination of this run. And it wraps it up fairly well. We started off with the introduction of Scott Lang coming in, and he's got some issues on his chest about the death of his daughter by Doom. And how is he going to be a leader? How is he going to be a father figure to these kids? How is he going to watch these kids for the 4 minutes that the Fantastic Four should be gone for, which has lasted 16 issues? How has he done in his role? I think we could probably give the guy a generous C+, B- overall.
He did a pass-fail and he's passed, yes.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's made it. So it's been rocky, it's been difficult, and we're going to get to the final, but as far as wrapping up most of the FF, this is a pretty good capper before the denouement at the end. What do you think about the science in here? We got to kind of break apart the science because that's the big issue in here. And we use the term science very loosely in this because it's Marvel comic book science, but I applaud them for taking what we know of the Marvel comic book science and saying, how is Scott able to do this? Mm-hmm. Why is Scott being able to do this? And this goes back to, first of all, he is a scientist. He's been using the Ant-Man powers for a long time, and he's had a chance to break in and look at the Watcher's files on Hank Pym and all the iterations
basically Pym particles and everything that they've touched.
Right. And so he has kind of come up with an idea and a theory, and he wanted to test it out, and he was right. That the Pym particles do more than what Hank Pym knows that they can do, enlarging and shrinking people and things. There is the question of why is it that when he shrinks down, he's got density, and he's able to retain some of his strength when he was bigger, and how come when he gets much, much taller, he becomes that much more stronger and dense?
Yeah, because Scott's going, it doesn't make sense. I have my same strength if I'm an inch tall, but if I'm big, I'm way stronger than I would be if I was big. And more and tougher. So he's like, that doesn't make sense. And then as he was telling Watu when he was going through the files, he's like, I'm just wool gathering. I'm just kind of looking at some stuff. And Watu even mentions, he's like, I loved watching Scott go through my files. Wool gathering indeed. Yeah.
But now we know the reason why. Is if other people who have inherited, gained, developed powers, and part of that was influenced by Pym particles, what's the X factor? What is the thing that makes all this work? And that's where they come up with this theory of the X, Y, and Z axes. And so you got size, which is on X-axis. You got the durability aspect, which is the Y-axis, and that's got the vision on one side and Wonder Man on the other, because Wonder Man's super dense. And then we have the strength. I kind of think they messed up the art here on this a little bit here. I really do, because I think that the strength should have vision on one side and Wonder Man on the other. Because they have varying degrees of strength that they use based upon that. And the durability, that should be the different areas of the vision, because the vision can make himself intangible, which is like can be seen as no durability, and ultra durable, where he can make himself ultra dense. So
I had thought the same thing with that. I'm like, well, that doesn't fully make sense. But I do also like that the majority of, there's 6 figures here. 3 of them are Vision. So
I think you probably could have done something a little different than Vision. For another showing of strength. But I get what they're kind of going with here. And it makes sense. The BIM particles kind of have that ability. And that's all still tied up in how Hank Pym gets taller and thinner. Because, yes, strength and durability are all tied into how his body reacts and whether it's tall or small. That has to change as well, not just the size.
I love the kids extrapolating out on that. Where they're like, oh, wow, Pym particles can do this. Well, wait a minute. Let's posit that there's a negative Pym particle. Oh, maybe that's what Annihilus's cosmic control rod controls. Oh, well, then if we factor in the cosmic radiation of the FF, and Hulk's gamma radiation, and kind of come up with a conjecture of Captain America's super soldier serum, that could be, it's a destiny formula force and stuff. And it's just like, wow, this is not science. This is like going, well, wait a minute. If I want to build a better car, I'm going to need some hot dogs, and I should go to the library, and I should probably laugh at some comedian.
If your world is based upon an ultra-real version of what physics and science is, then it can make sense. I was recently listening to an episode of J.M. Miles Explain the X-Men, and for I can't remember which milestone they had. I want to say it was 300 or 400 episodes. I can't remember which. But they decided that they were going to do a deep dive into Magneto's power. And they got a scientist who studies magnets. And they're like, you're kind of one of the world experts on magnets. We want to talk about some of Magneto's powers. And this guy's like, I have waited my entire life to do this.
He's like, this is what got me into magnets.
But that's the thing, is like, if we take what the science... Comic book science is always going to be nebulous to begin with, because the science is always tempered by what makes a good story and how does it work. But you want to make sure that it's tied just enough into reality that we can make it make sense. So, yeah, like you said, you are building a car with hot dogs and with laughter and all these other things. Well, yeah, we can still make that happen with all those things you say. It might not look like a car, and in our reality, it might not actually act like a car, but in a science of, let's say, Looney Tunes, you put that same thing with hot dogs and laughter in there, and that thing works quite well.
Yeah, it's an amazing car.
So it's, again, you have to temper your expectations of what you're doing with the science that's provided in front of you. I appreciate the writers and artists and creators of this book giving us this rich material and saying, look, this is how Scott can pull this off.
Yeah, they give it about 2 pages. Of kind of explanation, and then hand waving away that they're going to do anything with it when Watu waves away their thought bubbles and is just like, nope. And the fact, the only reason that Watu had told them what was going on with Scott is because they were asking, and his girlfriend was like, oh, come on, they're such brave little creatures. Tell them. And he's like, this is a mistake. You don't tell human stuff. You know what? I'm going to, just to teach you a lesson, my dear, not to do this ever again.
I enjoyed it. I think it was fun. And I think it's the real crux of the rest of this book, the rest of this issue, with Scott just taking apart Doom.
Oh, he just bodies Doom from the beginning to the end. Yeah.
Yeah. And not only that, but it's also like we said, it's a figurative as well as literal, because he is also deconstructing what Doom is as well. It's like, you're not as strong and as powerful as you think you are, because you're always going to be brought down by your own hubris.
Yeah, it's just like, you don't have a soul, and you are claimed honor and nobility as a Potemkin village. It's just facades. It's just, that it is. The first lie that comes out of your mouth every time you speak is Doom does not lie.
Right.
They far-reaching on kind of like some of the things that he's comparing him to is like your Saddam Hussein's golden toilet seat, his son's wood chipper that they would kill people in. It's just all these things. It's like,
man, 12, 13 years after entire Desert Storm thing with Saddam Hussein was a relevant interest in the world, and we're bringing up Saddam Hussein references. That was a specific, deep reach back, and I'm quite not sure exactly where that came from, but okay.
Scott waxed poetically a lot. When we hit Rubber and Glue, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of Scott, because he's very insulting a lot, but he's also, it's to show that he's learned, and he's pulling all these bits of information out of things and comparing them to Doom.
It is, but that is a specific pull from a specific time point that is 12 years removed, and it's the one weird note that's playing in the symphony of this book that made me stop and question. I'm like, why that specific? You could have done a lot of other things, but you hit that point 3 times. I think of Dr. Doom, but I do not think of him as an akin to somebody like Saddam Hussein. I mean, I would more say that Doom is an amalgamation of every single dictator that's ever existed in the world, but just pointing out Saddam Hussein is very strange to me.
Yeah, well, he pointed out other people as well. He did talk about some other people, and he did talk about, some World War II stuff, and he ranged around, but there was at least 3 dips into Saddam.
Yeah. What was your kind of big piece that you really latched onto with the entire punchdown of Doom?
Scott almost was just going through the motions of his revenge. It was like he had gotten past the rage of it, because before he was like, we're going to kill Doom. We're going to destroy him. This guy needs to not exist anymore. Old John was on board with that. He's like, let's just gank him. But Scott really had a growth in that where he's like, this is a thing that needs to happen, and I also need the resolution of this. He never ran hot. There was no exclamation points in his speaking. He was never yelling. He was just like matter-of-factly putting forth his position and what Doom was, while he was just literally wiping the floor with him and just tossing him around. Just to show Doom that it's like, there's other people that can do this. This is what you do to everybody. How does it feel to know that there's other people that can do this to you?
Of course, one thing that Doom did is he, last issue, made the mistake of harming another celestial being. And that's something you can't do. You cannot mess with the Watchers. They serve a purpose, they serve a function, and the universe says they are special. And Doom, once he got his all-godlike power, broke that rule, and the universe said, well, it's time to pay the piper. So they sent down the Living Tribunal. As far as galactic beings, we've seen a few of them now, and I think we might have touched on the Living Tribunal before. I believe we might have. But again, every time he comes up, I just think it is the most fascinating character. It's one of those really fascinating characters that whenever they invoke him, I'm always going to stop for a second and say, okay, go on. Yeah. Let's see what happens here.
It's the judge at the end of the universe.
Yeah. He's impartial. He knows the laws. He knows the rules of the universe, and he is going to make a pronouncement. And you can't say no to him because he is one of the embodiments. He even has the universe, the entity of the universe that exists. He even stops and says, well, the Living Tribunal spoken. Let's go ahead and see what we have to do here.
What was that? Eternity?
Yeah, Eternity? Yeah. So I always am just fascinated when that concept comes up. I think it's always interesting. I think it's always fun.
He's got a neat design as well, since he's got a floating head. It's 3 heads. It has 3 faces on it, and they can each be hooded, and it's floating above his body. Yeah. So it's just the standard superhero muscular body, just no super detailed, just like a formless muscular male body with a floating tri-head over it.
Anything else you really want to talk about with this issue?
There's a lot of stuff to talk about if we'd want to dig into everywhere, but not really. The majority of this issue really was Scott slapping around Doom. It was 7 pages of Scott slapping around Doom and talking to him, and then it would be interrupted with, okay, now we're going to go into the nowhere space where Franklin and Ravonna are talking. Okay, we're going to go back over, the Watcher I like how the Watcher was super excited to wake up in time to see the universe change, which is when Scott just starts slapping around or breaking the gauntlets and armor of Doom. He's like, I didn't miss it. I got to see it. He even goes home. He's like, I saw it.
I got to see Doom take it. I love it. All right, then let's get into our final thoughts. Let's start off with our Gallery of Greatness. What piece of art needs to be pinned to the broken down walls that have a bunch of metal scratches on them from Doom and his armor? My backup joke one is right on the first page, and it's a bunch of
it's
these.
a good one. Yeah.
It's a bunch of these robots that are just walking over and they're piling these Doom bots in a pile. And I'm just like, well, I don't know what the joke is, but just insert the Star Wars joke here.
No, it's funny because you have the thing suits that have the like Christmas light bulb coming out of the head, incandescent kind of bulb coming out, and just chucking robots in a pile. And I agree, it is hilarious. I didn't pick that, but I totally understand why you did. It is just inherently funny.
All right, what do you have?
My joke backup is on page 6 of Marvel Unlimited, and I call it Keep Away. And this is when Doom is reaching for the cosmic power siphon harness thing, the little paddles, to get his cosmic powers back. And you have just little Ant-Man down there. He's like, nope, and just kicks them away. So it just makes, nice. I don't know why, it just makes me laugh to see just a tiny little man kick away cosmic power from Doom.
No power for you. Well, since we're having so much fun laughing at Doom, let's go ahead and continue to do that, because we also have the lovely scene where Scott reaches over and crushes Doom's arms.
Yeah.
And he's like, my beautiful hands.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing on that, is because I adjusted in the script because he's like, my hands, how are you crushing them? And it's obvious Scott's grabbing him by the wrists and like crushing kind of like the forearm, lower wrist area. It's not his hands. It's just like, all right, you guys are on different pages. It's fine. It's close enough.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, if you're crushing all the bones in the wrist, like, I can't utilize my beautiful hands.
I would go, my arms, or ow.
Well, you're fancy like that. What's your top joke one?
My top joke one is on page 9, and I call it Fisher-Price Little People. So this is a splash page, and it's all the science of the XYZ axes, but just that, I love all of it, but that very bottom has Ultron, Vision, Wonder Man, what is it, Baron Zemo, and somebody else, I think it's Goliath. And they're all the little wooden peg people from Fisher-Price. They're the little people. And that just cracks me up to see superheroes and villains represented by wee little peg people.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and stay on that page because that's my top good art. That entire page is my top good art. I loved the Axis of Power. I loved what it described. Yes, we pointed out that there was one thing that just, I think it's wrong. I think there was a miscommunication there, but I just love that page. I think it's a beautiful page all around. Yeah, so that's my top good art one.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. I could go back and forth where I could have picked that for either or both, but it's just the little people.
Oh no, I get it. The little people, that was pretty funny on there. So what do you have for your backup good art?
My backup good art is on page 14. It is the lower right-hand panel, and I call it Change of Scenery. And this is when Doom was trying to get away, so Ant-Man obliges him by growing really big, grabbing him, and bursting out of the cave up onto the landscape of Doomstadt. Mm-hmm. Just rocks are flying, and it's just showing Lang just using his Pym particles to get bigger and bigger and bigger and just go through a cave wall. It's ceiling. It's great.
Well, my backup good art, and I'm cheating here, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the 8 little panels here, which I call the beatdown panels. And it's kind of your favorite type of panel.
Oh, it was on my list. I'm like, this is going in.
A red background, black shadow, and you just see Scott Lang. And you see some little flecks coming out, too. Yep. It's Scott Lang in shadow with blood. And it is just... It's vicious. It is vicious.
And that red background color just gets darker and darker until it goes to black on the last panel. It is chef's kiss. I absolutely love that. Like I said, I thought I was going to be picking that and putting it into my list. I did not, but boy, I thought I was going to.
What do you have for your top one?
Well, I did go to page 17, which is almost a splash panel, and it's the tribunal time. It is the arrival of the living tribunal, and this is after it just crashed meteor-like into Doom's castle and just came over to where Watu's watching, and Doom's on the ground, and Lang's there, and it's just like, that's pretty sweet. And in the background is a burning, exploding Doom castle. Doomstadt's done. This is amazing. I love it.
Not bad. Let's get ourselves into rubber and what was the best or most childish insults. My backup is Bentley saying, wow, it's almost like he's a real superhero instead of just an ant.
Yeah, there was a lot of insults in this. They were all pretty good.
I like that one. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. It's like, wow, just cutting right to the quick there. I like it.
There was a part, too, where like Doom is saying, this isn't one of them, but where Doom's like, how can you do this? You're just Ant-Man. And Lang's response is, yeah, and everybody knows the ant can't.
Yeah.
It's Ant-Man. How's he doing stuff? It's Ant-Man. My backup rubber and glue moment is it ranges between page 4 and 5, and it is when Doom is all, your petty little plan has failed, Langs. Doom still lives. And Scott's response is, Doom still talks in the third person, too.
Yep. Yeah, just making fun of the talking in third person, it never stops being funny.
It's true.
Even though Rick likes to talk in third person from time to time.
Yep.
My top one, and we talked about this one a lot, it's the 3 hits of him insulting him by calling him Saddam Hussein. Your nuance is the solid gold toilet seat in Saddam's palace. Your sophistication is the Wagner phonograph playing in the background at the One-E's conference. Your depth is the hopper capacity of Uday and Quasi's wood chipper.
Yep.
I get it. He's a jerk. I will give him credit because it is... Here, I'm just going to go ahead and tear you down, and tear you down. So, what do you have?
My top one is... Scott's just dragging Doom around a cave floor, and he's like, there's a word for people like you, sociopath. Someone utterly incapable of even conceiving, let alone comprehending that other people are real. It's Planet Doom, population 1, with 7 billion people-shaped cardboard cutouts for you to fold, spindle, and mutilate at will. I love the imagery of that. Just the mental imagery is just like, yeah, you just feel you're the only actual human on the planet, and everybody else is just a cutout. Nobody else is real. You're the only one.
Huh. I guess in that reasoning, I'm a sociopath. Good to know. All right, let's get on to Parent of the Year Award, the Reed Richards Award for Good Parenting. Who are you going to give it to?
I was having some difficulties with this, but I didn't go to my easy default of saying the Power Parents were in a panel, so them. But I was tempted. But I am going to go for the good version, and I'm going to give it to the Living Tribunal. And that is because he shows up, he's like, okay, kids, here's the problem. You can't be doing this. Here's your punishment. I'm out the door.
I want to argue with you on this one. I'm going to be pedantic on it because he's not being a parent. He's being a judge. He's being a lawyer. He's following the law.
It's the aspect that he starts off where he's just like, normally if people do this, we don't care because you can't be mad at a child for acting out. They don't know any better. So I could just see him. It was just like he sees them all as children. And that's where I got the parenting from.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Again, like I said, I had trouble with this. Otherwise, I was just going to have to give it to Scott over and over.
I went with a bad parent, and I gave it to Doom.
Got it.
Because he is being a bad godfather and shooting his goddaughter. And you don't do that. You don't do that. That's not how you treat your goddaughter. You gotta be a better parent.
I was trying to not just have everything be Doom or Scott. So I had to throw a curveball in there somehow.
I gotta tell you. That's the last time I'm going to mention Doom, and I'm not going to mention Scott for my other 2 answers, so there you go.
Okay.
It's possible to do it, my friend.
Spoilers,
it's possible to do it.
So.
Most popular and shunned, I'm going to guess what your 2 are. Doom and Scott, am I right?
Yeah, wow, what? How were you able to figure that out from the subtle clues that I had laid out? You are an Inspector Clouseau. You are, in fact, that guy
So
from,
let me make sure I got this right. Worst is Scott, best is Doom?
Obviously,
okay, I can see
because
you.
Doom still lives. No, it's because Ravonna is like, yeah, Doom basically was so obsessed with this that he took me, he re-bioengineered me, and conditioned me to be the perfect mate for Kang. It's wrong on so many levels, which hence the bad parenting thing. And it was just like, yeah, that's terrible. Besides all the other stuff where he's just still, in spite of the universe going, hey, Doom, we don't like you. He's still like, smoke and mirrors doesn't mean anything to me. It's just, he won't learn the lesson.
I went with a different tactic because I thought it would be too easy to just say Scott and Doom.
I went for the easy.
So my best was Bentley because he browbeat the Watchers into teaching him stuff. That's pretty impressive. Okay. That is pretty impressive. You know what my worst is? My worst is the Watcher for teaching Bentley the secrets of the universe.
Don't teach Bentley things. Do not give a monkey a gun.
Am I wrong on either of my choices?
You are not wrong on either of your choices. I do like the fact that Wattu basically just gave up because he's like, okay, the fastest way to tell anybody anything is telephone, telegraph, or telehuman. It's just fine. You want the kids to know what's going on. Okay, I'll tell them, and it's going to be a problem later. But what do I care? I'm the Watcher, not the taker-carer of things.
Well, maybe the Watcher could help us out with this because he's seen everything. He's done everything. He's been there for all of these issues that we're going to talk about. And he would know how to rank them the right way, but he's not here, so we have to do it. So we've got our top grades. We want to look at all the issues with a member of Power Pack in them. Top, Fantastic Four 588, Funeral of Johnny Storm. Spot number 33, FF Volume 1, number 18, what do you call the opposite of a field trip? Johnny is the worst sub and he loses an election. Spot number 69, nice. FF number 10, Volume 2, Painted Black. Mad Fraction and Mike Allred go to the microverse and the kids play 20 questions. And then spot 98, we know the social media disaster of inhumanity. Where do you feel this one is going to go?
Okay, in spot 23 is issue number 15. Somewhere around here. I really like this issue. I like this issue a lot. And I'm trying to remember Operation Lap Area. I'm trying to remember issue 15 at the stage. We only did it last week, so I should know it pretty well. I feel somewhere in here.
Yeah, I think that it's going to go a little bit higher, because we do have the ending of this. This is pretty good ending.
Yeah.
It wraps things up very well.
Spot 20, there's the Loners number 2, Reflex Actions, Johnny goes solo. 19.
Spot 17, congratulations, Mr. Grimm, you're handsome again. That's a fun issue. That's a
good
really
issue.
good single issue. This one, I think, might just be below it. The Avengers Arena, Devil's Greatest Trick, which is really good as well.
Yeah.
I think it goes between these two. I think that this is a good finale issue.
I could be okay with this being the new 18. If it's not there, it's definitely in that very small zone. So yeah, I'm good with this. This can totally be the new 18.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about beer then. What do we think of this beer? Infinite Realms by Threshold Brewing Company, brewed in Portland, Oregon. How do you feel about it?
It's good. The taste has remained pretty consistent. It still kind of has a little, I can't place it flavor. The aftertaste on it isn't super, it's not the best aftertaste, but it's also not a bad aftertaste. It's a decent beer. It's not, again, fully what I would be heading to, but I am enjoying drinking it, and I would drink it again. It's a strong 4 for me.
I'm a little bit negative on it. I'm about 3.5. It's hitting me a little bit more of the sour notes, which I'm not enjoying as much, but still enjoyable. I think that I fell off it a little bit more near the end of our recording when it's gotten a little warmer.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's still fine. 3.5 is where I'm landing on it. So that's what we think about this beer. If you like that, go and drink it. If not, here's something else.
Okay. Well, if we think that about the beer, what do we think about kids' perspective? Because that's where you talk to your 14-year-old daughter, Carrie, about the issue that we just covered. So I think I like it, and I think I would like to hear you guys do that. So Rick and Carrie, take it away.
Hello, Carrie.
Hello, Daddy.
So here we are to talk about a new comic, correct?
Yeah.
Well, new comic, but it's the last comic in this series, right?
Yeah.
We'll touch on this book again when we do our next recording. We'll cover the last part of this book and the last part of the Fantastic Four book. But this will probably be it for the FF series. What'd you think of it?
It was good. It was interesting to see a different FF in place of the old one, the original. Yeah, different characters and stuff. It was neat.
Yeah, I liked this version of the FF. I liked this second volume. I might have liked it a little bit more than the Hickman run. I don't know. But I enjoyed this cast of characters more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
What about this issue in particular? Did you like how it ended?
Yeah, it was kind of intriguing. Still the parents and the thing missing, but I'm sure they'll get that figured out somewhere or another.
They all come back together. We'll see that in the ending bit. But did you like how Ant-Man won?
Yeah. It seemed a little bit brutal, but I guess Doom kind of deserved it.
What'd you think about the science? The comic book science of it?
It probably made sense, and I really did try to pay attention to it. It's just, there was just a lot of words, and so they started the eye-brain coordination was not,
Oh, come on. You should know about x-axes and y-axes and
I know about that.
z-axes and how they work with Pym particles. You guys are studying Pym particles in school, right?
No, we're not even studying, the axes right now.
Well, the next time they come up, make sure you ask your teacher about how Pym particles fit and all that.
Okay, I'll make sure that try to check if my teacher's as much of a geek as us, you know?
Hey!
It's not a bad thing. Why are you saying you're the one making it sound bad? Gosh.
What was your favorite part about this issue?
It was nice to see Franklin and Val, even if it was a really short time.
Yeah?
I liked that it was kind of all wrapped up and, I don't know, everything was getting resolved. That was nice.
Yeah, it came together very well at the end, didn't it?
Yeah, pleasant.
pleasant. All right, well, I think that's all I've got to talk to you about right now. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
I love you.
Love you too. Mwah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doom got beat up. That's really all that we can say, isn't it, Carrie? Yep, that's what I can say at least.
Shout out time! We'd like to recognize those listeners that take time to write in or leave us a review, and this is for FF Volume 2, Number 13, Moloid C, Moloid 2. And we got likes and shares from Hoover Jeremiah,
Jeff Polier,
Jeremy Daw,
Tim Price, the Podcrasher, and their podcast, The Outcasters.
Before I mention our Patreon people, I want to just go ahead and let everybody know that I went through and kind of looked at what we had on our Patreon, and I went ahead and opened up the first 20 episodes that we have in there. They're for free now. So if you would like to hear our Patreon episodes and hear some of our back catalog that we've done before, we're up to episode 80 over there. You should go over and check out the first 20 episodes for free. And that's over at our Patreon page at Jeff and Rick Present. We would like to thank those people that have given us a little bit of money to keep doing our show, and that includes adorably astonishing and amazing Andrew Burns,
cheerfully cheeky and charming Char Logan,
challenging, cheesy, and chuckling Charles Gears,
destructive and devastatingly delightful Damian Witter,
intelligent, interesting, and innovative Isaac Dark Riddle,
jaunty, jubilant, and jazzy Jeff Osterritter,
jesting, joking, and jovial Jeff Polier,
just jealous and jeweled Jeremy Daw,
muscly, mighty, and meticulous Matthew Birdsey,
mythical and magnificent monologuing Matthew Laserwitz,
steely, salty, and steamy Sailor Bear Zodar,
sad and sickeningly silly Shag Matthews,
tyrannically terrifying and tame Tim Price,
way wordy and wobbly Waffles. Next issue, we're going to cover Fantastic Four, Volume 4, Issue number 16, and the second story in this book, the FF number 16-4.
Be sure to check out my daughter's comic strip on our website. Just do a search for Jeff and Rick Present Tales of Tales.
And we have some merchandise available on Redbubble. Go to redbubble.com and search for Unpacking the Power of Power Pack.
Jeff and Rick Present is a bi-weekly self-produced podcast recorded in front of a live studio audience in Portland, Oregon. If you'd like to interact with us through the magic of the internet, you can do so through Blue Sky at Jeff and Rick Present, our Facebook page, Jeff and Rick Present, our email address, jeffandrickpresent, all one word at gmail.com, or at our website, jeffandrickpresent.wordpress.com. Also, our YouTube channel is at Jeff and Rick Present.
And if you would like to help support our show, we are on Patreon. You can find us at patreon.com, Jeff and Rick Present, all one word. We're also a proud supporter of the Hero Initiative, and we'll be donating 10% of our Patreon donations to this great cause. We encourage everyone to give what they can to this worthwhile organization that helps the creators who provide us with such great content. Go to heroinitiative.org to find out more.
Please rate and review us wherever you can. Tell your friends about us, or share your love for us on social media.
And as always, we want to thank the powerful people in our packs.
My wife Cindy and our daughter Carrie.
My fiancée Hillary and our daughter Aurora.
We love you.
Until next time, costumes off.
Our theme music is 80s Action by Kevin MacLeod. Also featured in this episode is Clap Along With Me by Sasha and Day. All music is found at Incompetech.com and is licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. The remote control thing's dumping... The remote control thing... Bop. And we see a disheveled...
Bop.
You know, Scott's daughter who died to keep ultimate power out of Doom's bloodstains. You know, Scott's...
Bop.
It's the cosmic entity that acts like judge, jury, and executioner in the universe.
Nope, try that again. Executioner.
Executioner. He's right on the edge, and he's gonna cushion it. You know, the cosmic entity that acts like... You know.
Bop.
The cosmic entity that acts like... You know. The cosmic entity that acts like... Man. You know. The cosmic entity that acts like a judge, jury, and Hold on a second. Hey guys, I'm trying to record. If you could be a little quieter up there. All right, thank you. Roar's got a friend over, and Hillary's on the phone, and all of them are near that door making the loud noises. You know.
Bop. Usually, if a human pulls something like this, the cosmic entities really don't care, because you can't blame a child or a savage primitive for their actions. But because Doom has taken a big old drink of God juice, that kicked up to the manager. That kicked it up to the manager. Because, oh wow, okay, we are just starting over.